All right. And
It
now
says
I
live.
I need to turn the volume up before I start the music. Hey everyone, it's that time again. It's Monday, it's 8, and it's time for
Insert title here.
so isn't that right? And joining me here is I'm Johnny Gators. Joining me here is Brian Blues.
With another new hat.
Yeah. Wait, that's not the same hat as last week?
No, I was wearing. I think I was wearing I was wearing the what do you call that, right? Or was
Okay.
that the week
Oh
before?
yeah. Oh no, you were wearing that like a month ago, I think.
Or was I wearing this thing?
Oh, that thing. That's right.
Yeah. You know,
So how many of these hats
got to
do
be
you
different
have?
every week.
I see.
Huh?
Now, do you buy like a new one each week for the upcoming show?
Well, I haven't bought one. I actually brought this to the Maker Faire that we're going to talk about later.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, so it's been
So
a fun
yeah.
week. You go into fairs and no Mars. Mars would not go with you. Is
Well, to be honest to him, when I kind of asked if he was interested, he kind of had this cagey answer. Kind of, I wasn't sure if he really wanted to go, but he did say that. Well, you'll be going there and taking a lot of pictures, and in fact, I did, and I was kind of happy to go by myself because, you know, my interest in anybody else's interest would just been in conflict. So.
well, I
You know,
don't
so I
know.
tweeted a bunch from
Mars
the.
is pretty easygoing. He probably would have just.
I
Hey,
was
you
thinking
would.
if I'd ask if he'd be my cameraman for some video work, and I would be on camera, and I would have, well, the guy with the vision impairment to be my cameraman.
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same thing. Actually, I was going to say have him take the pictures.
But in fact, I didn't even step in front of the camera to talk. Most of the video was just kind of pointed at this kind of object, and but I haven't edited this or even previewed the stuff to post it on YouTube, but I intend to.
All right, and we'll be sure to tweet the link once that gets posted. And
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, that was cool. So that was what, Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
The fair was Friday, kind of Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday. So,
Cool.
and you know, one of the big names that was there was Adam Savage, you know, formerly of MythBusters.
Right.
And I
Cool.
know that on Sunday he spoke. You know, I didn't see him on Saturday, but he spoke on Sunday. That would have been kind of cool to see, but I didn't know when he was coming on, so I kind of go, well, what the heck.
Yeah. Ah, cool. Cool.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so here's our show.
here's our show. Yeah, we another week has gone by, and you know, I gotta tell you, I have not touched my Raspberry Pi all week long. I mean, last weekend I had fun with it. I played with it. I was all excited about it, and then I put it down, and my mind completely went off of it. And this weekend, this just past weekend, I just didn't even have time to think about a Raspberry Pi. I have way too many hobbies and way too many projects. You know what that's like?
Oh, I know exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Well, I think
Do we want to take a look around here?
well, yeah, show us. And you still have the same pile of boxes over to your other side.
Same pile of boxes on the other side there. Yep. So there's even more that could be done. Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but no, you know, I have a little bit of exciting news this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Next week, I have a in-person job interview coming up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. No, this happened really fast. I mean, here's the thing. I've been looking for jobs online because, you know, what I'm doing right now, it's temporary work. Yeah, you know, it's not.
Right.
They have no interest in hiring me on full time, and then you know, there's no place for me to advance within the current environment, and it's not the type of environment I really want to work in for a long term. I mean, I'm not on. It's not horrible working conditions. I'm not working under awful conditions with awful people. I'm working with great people. They're nice people, and My supervisor appreciates my work, and he's like, hey, if I was a high enough member of management and I could like hire people, hey, if I'm working somewhere else someday, I might give you a call, but right now all I could do is redo your contract. So that's kind of where I'm at, and it's like, okay, well, it's find the real job. And it's been I've been thinking about me, I can't pick just one thing I want to do, so I've got kind of like three directions I'm kind of looking at, and one is the easy logical thing would be to find a job here in the Boston area that pays more and is long term, and settle down here. I'm close enough to family from here, close enough to friends from here. And, hey, I was going to settle down in Maine even after Seth moved out of Maine, so I'm not opposed to just settling down someplace in New England. I mean, hey, this is half the distance from my family than Maine was. So if I was going to be happy there, surely I'd be happy to, settle down here. The other option, of course, is I really like Bennington, up there where Gothard is living. And that looks like a place that'd be much more affordable to buy a house. There's just not much in the way of jobs there. Albany's a 45-minute drive away, so I've been scoping out the jobs in Albany, and there's just not as many job listings for Albany as there are for Boston. So that's not been panning out. I've not even gotten a phone interview for anything in Albany. And then, of course, there's New Jersey, which, that's home. That's my people, New Jersey. I'm a Jersey guy. That's, so, I've been applying to jobs there, not getting any phone calls on those, though. I find that I'm more likely to get phone calls about jobs I didn't apply to than I am to get phone calls about jobs I do apply to.
That's cool.
Isn't that funny?
Hey, it's shit coming out of the blue.
It's but usually it's the phone call is the recruiter that is just trying to batch buzzwords off of my resume to buzzwords off of a listing, and we talk, and then I never hear back from them. So that's right. But I find that funny that I am more likely to call about something I didn't apply to than something I did apply to, and then it never goes anywhere. But the problem with New Jersey is, although New Jersey to me feels like a little more logical than settling down in Massachusetts, it's a little less affordable than settling down in Massachusetts. I tell you, I look at like the rental prices in New Jersey, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need to get a job that pays a lot. I can't just find some temporary work there and sell it, unless I get like a tiny apartment and store all my stuff in my dad's basement, which doable if I really absolutely, I'm like, Jersey is where I want to go. But like I said, I haven't been getting calls about anything I'm applying to there. So
there's always that problem that since you're not living in Jersey or in a location, they're kind of go, oh, here's an out-of-towner, we don't want to call them, or something absurd like that.
You know what's
like
odd?
Nowadays it's important that there's a long-distance phone call involved or something. That's not even an issue anymore, except for somebody that's old school and doesn't know.
Yeah. Although,
in fact, speaking of that, I had this story.
Mm-hmm.
Several years ago, we went to Maui, right? Of course,
right.
We like to go to Maui. We haven't been in a few years. And we went to this little festival, in California, you got a wine and cheese festivals. Well, this was a whale festival. So I'm walking around there, all these booths and stuff like this, and this woman came up to me, strange woman or whatever, and says, oh, can I use your phone call? I have to call somebody, like from some fucking emergency, right?
Right.
It's a local call. And I just looked at her and I said, well, it's not a local phone.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
Which it doesn't work that way, but it was a perfect way to trap her into, to think about it, how stupid her comment was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes you say
something. I could have said it was roaming, because back then roaming was still kind of an issue, but that would have been a lie. I just said, well, it's not a local phone, which isn't a lie, but of course it's bullshit for her problem.
Yeah,
And,
because
I was like,
sometimes you want to find an
it
excuse.
didn't look like anybody was bleeding. This lady,
Right.
So come on, lady.
Sometimes someone asks, and you don't want to be an asshole, but you don't want to hand over the phone either, because it's
Yeah.
my phone. Who the hell are you?
Actually, at the fair when I was leaving, I got in my truck because I brought my Nissan Xterra there, and this guy came by. I said, "Oh, his hood is up." He says, "Hey, do you got some jumper cables? You look like the perfect kind of vehicle to have jumper cables." And I kind of go, "Oh man, you're absolutely right, but I don't have jumper cables. This is a new truck. Sorry, man. I would have helped you out, but."
But no cables.
As it turns out, he had triple A's, and in minutes, the triple A guy showed up. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, going back to the phone,
he really didn't need me.
going back to the phone, that reminds me one time when I was on BART, and some lady had casually picked up someone else's purse when it was left unattended or something like that. I don't know how the situation came about, but some lady was holding a purse, and some other lady was trying to get the purse back from her, and she was being very angry about, no, it's my purse. That's not your purse. It's my purse. And it was the type of thing that, I started quietly and casually trying to find the, video recording app on this phone. And this was like the one of my first phones that I got working at Tharco. So it was like the Windows phone before Windows Phone was a thing. It was like the phone with like the Windows version.
Is it a thing yet?
Well, before the thing that they call Windows Phone was there. They had phones with Windows on them before they had Windows phones.
Right.
Right. Like
you were. I was making into it like it's a thing.
Right. Well, no, it's a thing. It's just not a thing that a lot of people.
Just a regular thing, a little lowercase thing.
But this is that
uppercase thing.
This is one of those phones that had like the little keyboard on it with the little, like each letter was a little button in a little actual key. And so I'm trying to find a place on this phone to start taking video, because I know it can. I just don't know how, because I wasn't using the phone that much to do that type of stuff. And so I'm trying to quietly do this so I can get some video of the angry lady and the fight that's about to break out on the BART. And the fight eventually works its way to the car, the next car over, as one person tries to escape through the door and the other person follows over. And some of us are kind of like laughing about the situation in there, and I'm just like, gee, it's just a bummer I couldn't find the camera app before they took the fight over there. And the guy behind me goes, "Oh, hey, I need to make a phone call. Can I borrow that?" It's like, I don't want to be an asshole, but I don't know who this is. A guy on a BART train. What could possibly go wrong? I basically, but I had the perfect excuse. No, it's my work phone.
Was that before Obama phone became available?
I don't know. Well, the Obama phone was actually a program that dates back to the W administration, so it probably was around. It probably wasn't. It might be before the term Obama phone became.
I didn't know that it was available when W was signed.
That's what I've read or heard someplace. Now,
okay.
You know what? I might need some verification on there, but I believe the Obama phone was actually a W program, or I don't know.
Well, because conservatives definitely made that into a big joke. But I don't really care.
No. But
the point is that, hey, the person nowadays could get an Obama phone if they can't afford it.
There you go.
Who the hell doesn't have a phone?
But if you want to write in on your phone, I did forget to give out all the information. NHB Live through Skype and AOL Instant Messenger, and NHB Radio on Twitter. And hey, with your Obama phone, you can even give us a call on our Obama number, 984-664-2723.
Although Dune can't use that number.
It's not really an Obama number.
Oh, okay. That was a joke.
I had a situation. I talked about this some on the Dune and Bob show on yesterday. Dune usually keeps a close eye on the Twitters. So I noticed Venison had retweeted something. I think it was Venison. Had retweeted something about I'd rather a potato be the president than Donald Trump. And I thought that was funny. And so
I saw that, and that was hilarious.
yes,
I mean, who gives a shit, right? Come
and
on.
as I went to retweet it, I thought to myself, Dune is gonna hate this, and I retweeted it anyways. And so I said this. Dune absolutely missed it, didn't see it. So it's like, wow, you actually can get one in under him every now and then. But but to Dune, in my defense, I really like potatoes. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's okay
Actually,
because I
there
really
was
like
one
potatoes.
that I said, hey, I wonder if Bosco is running, and then I put the link to Bosco, the dog that's the mayor of Sonoma, California.
No, I thought you were talking
The,
about
the short story.
Bosco, the chocolate syrup.
No, there was the short story is there are people in the town of Sonoma that wanted to incorporate and hire a mayor and do all this kind of crap and have an election. And there were a lot of people who says, no, let's stay unincorporated. So when there was this ballot for mayor, they had this dog that was listed as the candidate. And Bosco won. Well, Bosco died, okay, and they had him stuffed, and he's mounted in this bar that's in Sonoma. So I guess to this very day, you can go see Bosco. And he is still officially the mayor of Sonoma.
Well, I would think there'd be requirements that he would not meet in order to be able to run and be on the ballot, though.
Apparently, they didn't set those rules right away, so he qualified and it got on and it passed.
And he's been grandfathered in. There you go.
Right. Now, the thing is that would be another point, is that if they have another election, will they let him run again? Or are they going to say, well, he's termed out? Do they have term limitations?
We got to check out their constitution there to find that out.
Right. Maybe they'll find some cat, right? Cat's rule.
Helios writes in, are you busy? Nah, we're just doing a show. Helios writes in, what up? And was up there. Thank you, Helios. What's up is, I was talking about the job opportunity. So that was kind of what I've been doing. So I've been going onto the job sites that I frequent and applying to jobs around the Boston area, in New Jersey, and in Albany. And not been getting any callbacks on those, really. But one day, I'm going through my emails, and every now and then LinkedIn sends me an email because I have a LinkedIn account, I'm on their site, and LinkedIn wants me to go on their site. So if they email me stuff, I'm more likely to click on a link and go on their site. And normally I just delete emails that I didn't ask for. But I happened to notice that it was a list of job listings through LinkedIn in your area that you might be interested in. And usually they're no good and they're not really much of a match. But there was one that stood out that was some kind of like a help desk position in Boston. And I clicked and I looked at it. Now, the thing is, it said Boston. It didn't say like one of the towns outside of Boston. It said Boston. So I'm like, is this in downtown Boston? Because I don't know if I really want to commute to downtown Boston. And that's kind of a pain. And anytime I've thought about that, it's kind of like I don't see how I could make that really work. But I decided, you know what? It doesn't hurt to apply to this. I don't know where this is. And besides, it said senior help desk position in one of the descriptions. So I'm like, it's a senior role. It probably pays better. Let's just click the button, submit the application, and we'll see what happens. And I get like a call I get an email the next day to set up a phone call for an initial screening. And so I'm like, okay. And so I get the initial screening, which is, the HR rep who kind of asks you to talk about your background and, how many people have you killed in the past 10 years? None. Okay, you got that one right. The typical first phone call stuff. And she's like, okay, well, we'll set up a phone call with you with the the head of the department. It'll phone interview you. And so that happened today, and that went well.
Cool.
And and so that was like, and that was only a 15-minute call because he's telling me about the position, the job, and the company, and asked me to tell him about myself. And this time I did a little more prep because usually it's like I know who I am, I know what I've done. And, I got this. And then the last time I went in for an in-person interview, I absolutely bombed. Although in my defense, the interviewer was absolutely bored out of his mind. And I had a feeling that he was going through the motions and already had a candidate in mind for this, because I could not engage him in any personal chit-chat or anything. And he kept on hitting on questions that were, about technical skills. What do you know about Exchange? I'm like, well, I know how to configure and set up Outlook, but I've not worked with Exchange directly a whole lot. What do you know about this? What do you know about that? And there were all things that I couldn't really steer towards my accomplishments, so I could not steer that interview.
So that guy actually had no skills in doing an interview.
Right. And
he was running through a checklist of skills, and that's the basis of all of his questions.
But he wasn't the one that was up for the job. So
right.
But anyways, I decided, you know what, it won't hurt.
What are your strengths and your weaknesses? Go fuck yourself, buddy.
He didn't even ask that. That I could deal with. That I could deal with. That's the bullshit type of thing.
How was my favorite answer to that? Kind of go, well, my strengths that I'm a really good guy, and my weaknesses are I have no patience for assholes that ask that question.
Yeah, give that answer a try and let us know how that. No, generally, strengths. You could talk about, people skills, because this is very much a customer service type of a job that I do. And, not only do you have to know what you know, but you have to know how to communicate it and convey it to the end user, and also deal with upset end users. Also, it helps to be a team player in the environment that you're working in, so you're all getting along, nice environment. And also, many times working on the job, you find things that you don't know the answer to, and I have the ability to, go look it up and find the answer and, find how to get it done. I think that, I just kind of threw that together on the spot right now, but that's probably the same thing I'd say in an interview if I got asked a question.
Right.
The weaknesses is tough. The weakness is really tough, because my weakness is my ability to get distracted when multitasking. I hate multitasking too much, and I find it to be distracting. And so I, am very careful when I multitask to, keep a list of what I'm doing and a checklist and try to, focus on items step by step.
Right.
But even
some people won't do that, and so when they get distracted, they're totally off the bean.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my biggest things that really pissed me off with my Phong was, I was always trying to avoid multitasking, especially if there was a task that I was interrupted on like 3 or 4 times. I finally got to a point where this is fucking ridiculous. This is a waste of my fucking time. I am getting this damn task done, and I don't care if you're the President of the United States of America stepping foot in front of my desk. I do not have time for you until I finish this one damn task I've been trying to do for the past 2 hours. And if I'm not going to pay attention to the President of the United States, I'm sure as hell not going to pay attention to my boss. And that was something that she did not like when I got that mindset and that mood. And, she'd be like, I need you to do this. Okay, I'll do that after I do this. I think this is more important. I think I can balance my workload.
You never. Let's see. Did you work for Tharco when they were privately held?
Briefly.
When the Aitchison still ran it.
Oh no. The last Aitchison was still the last Aitchison was the GM of San Lorenzo when I started.
Right. Yeah. What's his name? The younger guy, right?
Yeah, David.
David. Right. Yeah. So you didn't know who David was.
Yeah.
There was a time where we were all busy with all kinds of stuff, and David would come in, and it was kind of like, okay, he's the GM. Yeah, he was the GM. You're kind of supposed to drop everything to deal with with the GM, right?
Right.
Well, but we all were kind of familiar with David and the kind of nice guy he was and kind of stuff, and so we kind of said, "Okay, David, here's what we're going to do: is we drew a box on the floor, like a 1 foot square, maybe a little bit bigger, and I said, that's your spot. We're not even going to talk to you unless you're in your spot." To kind of put him in his place, and like, we're really freaking busy, David. So don't mess with us.
If you really need us to talk to you, you signify to us that you need us to talk to you. Otherwise, we don't have time for you. We have time for you if it's important, because you are important. But if you're just here shooting the shit,
and he had a good sense of humor, so you could do that with him, and he got away with it. I mean, he was cool. I liked the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, he's a 1%er, right?
Right.
He was cool. That's what we want our 1%ers to be, is to be kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, he was what, a third generation 1%er, right?
Well, third generation for that company. Yeah.
Right.
So he definitely had the silver spoon.
Right.
No doubt about it. But
But
they basically had made the decision to sell the company because, hey, he didn't want to run the company, really.
No,
he wanted to do something else.
He barely wanted to be the GM.
Yeah, but that fell to him. So yeah, he was basically the connection to the family still after it had sold to private equity. So that's what he was doing.
Right.
So.
But so anyways, I have my second phone had my second phone interview today with the actual manager, and
oh, cool.
And so I took notes because I'm like, well, what points do I want to talk up? What do I want to know? Because this, after the first conversation, it's in downtown Boston, but I kind of looked where it is. It's walking distance from South Station, and it's like, well,
so you can take a train in or something.
Right. Now the thing is, a monthly pass for the train from here to there would be $300.
Wow.
But this job pays a lot more. And plus,
right.
Now, mind you, I'm paying a monthly amount for health care. And the job would come with benefits. So right there, I lose a monthly expense and gain another monthly expense.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they're the same amount, but there's kind of a ballpark there. So
some companies do like a subsidy of transportation costs, which then your deal is down to zip, or they understand that to make sure that you're compensated for that.
Right.
In other ways. Incidentally, once in a while you're moving your hand and you're hitting your desktop. What the hell is your desktop made out of? It sounds like you're hitting a drum.
Oh, it's the microphone. The microphone's on a stand that has springs on it, and so when it moves around,
so there's a good resonance to it and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. Something happened on. Did someone write something in on Skype? Because I see a number jumped up, but I don't see something new happening there. Oh well. Anyways, it looks like Del Kitty writes in hi. Oh, hi. So basically, from talking on the first phone call, they ask what range I'm looking to make. I told them a number. And they said that's in line with with the position here. So already I'm looking at this as a possibility. It's like if they give me that amount that I asked for, I could deal with taking the train into Boston for a job for how long I have this job. So that this is a much better paying job. And so today's interview. Not that long. The guy kind of told me more about the position, which I'd already gone over with the HR person. Asked me to tell him about myself, and I had prepared my accomplishments. Like I came into Tharco, which was a company that had a lot of outdated equipment when I started there, and old computers that were kind of falling apart. They didn't have an imaging process. I started bringing an imaging process into place, set a standard, and took an inventory, and for their 10 locations across the country, brought all their, computers up to a certain standard while, maintaining support for all the, that's, not something to sneeze at. I mean, that happened over a period of time, but, and yeah, Dale and Mai Fong, certainly we met every week and did that, but I was the one that really rolled that out and, took the inventory and did that. And it's like, that's really something to talk up. So I made a point to talk that up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't ask me any follow-up questions about my skill set or anything like that. He really didn't. He just kind of told me more about, the company and the size of it, the size of the team and what it would entail and that. And it kind of, said, well, I got, do you have any questions for me? I asked a little bit more about the size of the team, how many people are at this site and that, whatever. Because you always want to have something to ask.
Right.
And at the end of the conversation, he goes, okay, well, we got a few more phone screenings, and we're going to try to bring some people in for on-site interviews next week. We'll get back to you on that. And I figured, he'd probably limit it down to a few candidates after some more phone screenings. But no, 5 minutes later, email comes in, we'd like to set up how is next Wednesday or Thursday.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they seem to like me. This is a good sign that immediately they're like, let's bring this guy in for an interview.
Either that, they were just talking to you to weed out the turnips.
Yeah.
Right?
It could be.
And you go, well, this guy's not a turnip, so we can talk to him further.
There we go. And
and maybe that's why he didn't go into depth, because I didn't want to go too far. He just wanted to make sure that, shall we say, he's not talking to a turnip.
Well, that was the first phone call. This is the second phone call. And the second phone call...
This is in the department.
Right.
The first guy is turned up to the company. You know.
But, it was very good. The only thing he asked me that, which he didn't seem too concerned about, was he kind of, said, well, if I bring you in here to interview with, a group of people, someone's probably going to bring this point up. But I see here... that you've been in, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, California, Maine. What's with all the moving around? And my first thought was, well, where the heck are you getting New York from? Now, Pennsylvania was college. And it's like, why are you even bringing up where I went to college? And I realized I kept my one recording engineer job on my resume just because it looks cool and is a good conversation starter, and that was at a recording studio in New York City, which I commute to from New Jersey. So really it's New Jersey, Maine, California, but he made that sound like a whole lot more. It's like, well, those moves were all, major life-changing events for me that resulted in those moves. After college, I moved up in Maine, thought I was going to settle down there for a while. Then I met my wife and settled down in California for a while. And then I, found it was kind of a hassle to come back and visit family here. So I moved back to the Northeast area. And he's like, oh, I can relate to that. I was stationed here and I ended up moving back here. So, it went well. So this is good. So
definitely sounds positive. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to wait, a week and a half before the next step. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a trip into the Boston, so that'll be fun.
Right. So you have I take it since you know where it is now and all that kind of stuff, you worked out the potential commute details that you would follow.
It's going to be a little rough because here's the thing. They're looking for someone to work kind of a 7 to 4 shift, although they are very flexible about that. And the one issue I have...
Is that 7 a.m. to 4?
Yeah. Which is generally the hours I always liked working, at Tharco's.
Right.
And at 7
early
to 4.
guy, yeah. Right.
And I like that because I got out the door at 4, the only problem is that to catch a train and then get to South Station and walk there and be there by 7, I got to be on the 5:45 train.
Right.
So that's kind of a pain in the ass. So, although I'm being that they're flexible about that, I might try to negotiate that up to 7:30.
So the commute itself is a little over an hour?
Yeah. Well, it involves catching a train and and it's like a 15-minute walk from the train station to there. Although I could probably get a bus to there, but 15-minute walk when the weather's nice, whatever, I'll do the walk. So, Yeah, it'll be like an hour, over an hour commute. Now
Yeah.
I could move closer, and I've looked at that possibility. The problem is that rents are significantly more as I get closer to Boston, and
Right,
so
right.
that
Well, I mean, but you look though. That's the thing to do. You kind of go, well, I could ditch this commute if I look
well, the thing is that
and find the right
areas
spot.
areas that are affordable are still more expensive, but more affordable. But they're
Right,
still far enough away that you're taking a train, and so you're cutting down the commute, but it's still
right,
a long commute and involve you because you still got to get up, be at a station, get on a train stopping at all the stops. A
right.
train commute is a slow commute.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially when that stops. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So I could move a little closer, but
I mean, when we were in Singapore, we chose an apartment that was, 3 stops away from my wife's work, so it wouldn't be that painful.
right.
But
That
I've
makes
seen
sense.
I've seen people tweeting about from Singapore saying, "Hey, yeah, the commute really sucks." Oh, they're going halfway across the country. Well, of course, it's a small country.
Right.
It's an island. But
But
you get a lot of stops in there. Yeah, it's going to take a lot longer.
yeah, yeah. It would take. It would be. I'd have to move to a really expensive area to really have a pleasant commute, and at that point,
Right,
the amount that I've increased my income is right out the window,
right,
or half of what I've increased my income goes out the window to minimize the commute, but still make. And so to me, it's like I may as well stay put for now and figure out see how this works out, give this some time, and if this is going to work out, maybe I look
right,
at houses in the area. Maybe
right,
I got good credit, and if I'm getting more money in and I'm staying put in my
right,
current situation, I could throw some money into savings and build that up quite quickly. You know,
right, right.
so
I watch a
that's
lot of the, on HGTV and DIY, I think it is, or whatever, shows on tiny houses, whether they're building them or selecting one to move into or whatever. And some of the scenarios are really funny. You kind of go, you know, okay, I couldn't live in something less than, say, 1,000 square feet. I mean, just look at this room. Fuck.
right,
I mean,
right.
um, this would be on top of the 1,000 square feet, probably, really. Um, but the tiny house is, I think it's defined as being under 500 square feet.
Yeah,
And
though.
some people are saying, oh, this place is 300 square feet. That's way too big, man. I want something smaller. Like, really?
I mean, you see those like miniature or tiny, efficient like houses that people build with the whole idea of I don't want to go into debt. I want to own what I
Well,
can
that's
afford
the
to
whole
own,
theme. Yeah.
and those look really cool and really nifty. And there's something that's cool about that. And I think it would be a real novelty to like vacation in one of those for about a week. But the thing is that is not the type of home for someone with possessions.
And that's part of it is also you need to get rid of your possessions and bear, and cut things out. You say, hey, I don't need this stuff. I don't need all of this stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
know
do.
what?
So
I do. I need all this and all this.
yeah.
I are you to expect me to live life without the Garbage Pail Kids book? I
Well,
that's
yeah,
just
that would have to go.
that's just crazy
That
talk
would have
right
to
there.
go.
That's just crazy
Actually,
talk.
the funny thing, I was watching this one episode where it was a family of, mom and dad and 3 teenage boys, and then they had 2 grown-up boys that had moved out of the house. Well, we want to have space for them when they come by. Holy, like, in fact, the 3 boys were up in this loft, and they were setting it up for 3 beds. It's like, oh, but we have 5, not 3. So they had to work out where the extra sleeping bed quarters would be.
Mm.
One was a bed that, what I like about the whole idea is you have all this furnishing and stuff like this that have multiple use. The thing
Yeah.
that pisses me off is that we have, in fact, right now we have a bed set up in the guest room, and I half expect it never to be used. I don't want to waste that room for guest room. We're kind of looking at getting a Murphy bed, but the existing bed, in fact, has a real thick mattress. It's 18 inches. Well, a Murphy bed, the max you can take is 12 or 11 or 10. So we're going to have to ditch that bed and put in a Murphy bed so you can pop it up against the wall. You know, really cool, really useful. Now I can use the room for something else as well. Someone comes in, I kind of shuffle things around, drop the bed down, and hey, here we go.
There you go.
Have a good night's sleep. You know,
when you get in the bed, you flip
and too
the
bad
thing
you're
up
so too fucking cheap to go get a motel. You know? In fact, I see people buying vacation homes where they have to have all this extended family and shit visiting you. Really? You're spending all that money for maybe somebody else would show up?
Well, actually, you know, there's some families that I mean, hey, my dad, when they built the new Shore House, they got a Shore House it's got 4 bedrooms upstairs, you know, so my dad and stepmom got their bedroom and 3 guest rooms. Of course, you know, my dad's got 4 kids, of which I'm one, and my stepmom's got 3 kids. So, you know, there's always people using those guest rooms.
Right.
So, you know, there are some families that, you know, hey, definitely at a vacation house because people definitely want to stay there.
Right.
But it's great now that they have a guest room at their home because.
But when that vacation house is in Costa Rica, how many people are going to be visiting? You know, I don't know. You know, everybody has their own situation.
You got a point there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to make their decision, but is that always the wise decision? You're going to have. Are you really going to have maybe 1%ers will have all these people visiting them?
Oh yeah, you know, keep in mind that's their version of the beach house, you know.
Right.
But I think you were going to talk about some voting today, right?
I voted today. So here's the story. The California primary is June 5th. I'm permanently marked as an absentee ballot. Whatever. We got our ballots, my wife and I. We filled them out, and we officially sent them off today.
So wait, this was the Republican primary you voted in?
Well, this is a primary for everything. There were a couple of voting measures because legislatures can't do their fucking job.
Right.
And you've got the state senate. You've got there's a Senate seat open, and Barbara Boxer's leaving. So you know everybody and their brother is running for Senate, congressman positions, and then in fact the Senate seat for California is open. Shall we say it's an open primary, so you get Republicans and Democrats. The unfortunate thing is I looked at the entire list and I recognized like 2 names. And I think both of them were Democrats.
Wait, Barbara Boxer was...
she's leaving the Senate.
Was it the end of her term? Or
yeah, end of her term, and she's leaving, and she's not coming for re-election.
So that was 6 years ago. That the last time she ran, because I remember.
Yeah, that was Feinstein.
She was up against what's her face?
Meg Whitman. That was Feinstein's seat, right?
No, it was no. Barbara Boxer was up against I think someone. I don't.
Oh, Carly. I mean, Carly was running for Senate. Right. That's right.
Right. I remember that. Now, I don't remember. I must have missed when Feinstein was up because when she was up, I would have taken great delight in not voting for her. I absolutely can't stand her. She has no concern at all for copyright law reform.
Well, I mean, she's a 1%er, so yeah.
Yeah. She is on the opposite side of things that are important to me, and I wouldn't vote for a Republican, but I would just vote none of the above.
Maybe this is Feinstein's seat, but I thought it was Boxer that was leaving.
I don't know. It could be. Who knows? I sometimes I don't always pay it. Maybe I did not vote for her one time and just forgot.
Maybe it was Carly against Feinstein, which means
no. I'm pretty sure it was Carly against Boxer. I remember a debate being on the TV at some point.
Oh, okay. You remember those 2 faces face to face?
Yeah, I remember that. And,
So anyway, and then of course the president, and now that's open, so you could vote for Republican or Democrat, whatever you wanted. Pick one. There was one seat, I forget even what it was for. There were 8 names, and you got to pick 7. And it was some, some county position, whatever. You kind of go, I don't even know what that guy does. I never heard of any of these people.
And they need 7 of them?
Whatever, yeah. So, that was a funny bit. Now, okay, so...
You hate to be the 8th guy on that one.
Then you got president, and I'm a registered Republican. So, hey, all those guys that are losers, that have dropped out of the race were on the list still. Ben Carson, he's the top loser, right? He was on the list. Ted Cruz, he was still on the list. Although a week ago I saw he was going to make an announcement, and I never saw what that announcement was. Maybe he changed his mind. I don't know. I don't follow.
I think the announcement was that tacos still rule.
Oh, that's what it was. I think I totally missed that one. So anyway, so you had the list of the candidates, and on that list, I saw this list of in the information that comes with it. There was a list of the Democrats, and there was Hillary, and there was Bernie, and there were these other people. Like, who are these other people? I didn't know these people were running. Now, in the state of California, you get a packet from the county because they administer the local administration, and the packet has all the names with whatever description. Now, there's at least 4 bits of data. 4 bits of data. One is the name, second is the party affiliation, and third is the occupation. Now, that could be that he's the incumbent for this state Senate seat or whatever.
Right.
And then the next bit of data is the candidate can submit a list of, this is who I am. And sometimes you see the list and it kind of goes, yes, I'm a father of 3 children, and they go to this school and blah, they bore you to fucking death. It's like, what's that got to do with the political office you're running for, you idiot?
Well, if he's a father of so many children, that means that he has gotten laid at least once in his life.
Well,
he just wants to make sure that
he's successfully breeded. He's
Yeah.
successfully breeded. Yes. Okay, there's a qualification, I suppose, for something, right?
Well, if you want to have a sex scandal to keep things interesting, you got to have someone in there that actually has sex. So
That's a good point. I did not consider. Next time I'll be considering that point.
Yeah, you got to take these things in consideration.
Right. So anyway, so you've got all this. What really surprised me is in this election, there were so many names on there that some of them would be name, the party affiliation, and the job title. And there would be no description at all. So the guy was too fucking lazy to give a description. You know what? I didn't see your fucking mailer, so I don't know who the hell you are. I ain't voting for you because you're lazy, right? So, and then sometimes you wouldn't even see a party affiliation. Okay, so, well, or you wouldn't see a job description. So it's just a name and a party. I'm sorry, your party affiliation doesn't tell me anything. Or sometimes not even that. You just have a name.
I don't know.
What are you doing? I hope you didn't spend a lot of time in this campaign.
You know what? If I get my name put in the ballot, I'm running as a Republican.
There you go.
There we go.
That would be a good one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get votes from both sides of the aisle.
Okay, so that was the amusing part of the whole ballot process. You've got all these names. Who the fuck are these people? Now, we don't vote for, do we vote for judges in California? I think we don't. In Texas, you vote for judges. And again, it's the same list of all these people. If you had heard of some name, that's on the list in the news about some case, that might sway you to vote for the guy or against, the guy's an asshole or the guy's okay, whatever. But, I hate that, voting for judges because, I don't know who these people are. I'm okay with the legislature appointing them. I'm okay with that. because I don't
Well,
want
usually they send out that nice handy voting guide ahead of time so that you can read
if they
little
do, if they
blurbs
do, yeah.
about everyone. And I would, thumb through that and be like, oh, okay, this guy sounds good. Check that
Now,
one off.
when I was in Colorado, there wasn't much that came out of the county or state on the people, but there was a League of Women Voters that did that work. They got the names and they got the descriptions of everybody. They did a fantastic job. Here in California, there is a League of Women Voters, but I see nothing from them. You know, I
Hmm.
don't, I don't get it. They just, I don't, whatever.
I don't
They
know.
don't.
Hey,
Okay, so here's the funny part.
Go ahead.
So on the thing, you get this page. Okay, you can do your absentee ballot and you can mail that in. Or you can take it to a place and they'll have a big red box for you to put it in. And it'll be city or county facilities, office building or whatever, where these things are located. And so I looked at one address and I go, okay, so here it is in my town. And so I looked up the address in Google Maps, and the big thing said that this was the police station. Okay, the police station are doing this. That's cool. What I didn't know, which comes into later, is that they share a building with the city offices. Okay.
So it
But I went to
wasn't
the
actually the police
station
station.
first. Well, so I went to the police station first. I walked in, and in fact, it's tied behind the building. It's a lower level. It's hardly marked. It's like not welcoming at all,
Mm.
But I go in there, and it's a tiny little reception area, and there's a person at the desk. They're very nice. And in the corner was this huge red box. That must be it, right?
Oh no!
No, that was for needle disposals. Okay, so I says I pointed to the lady and I said, I take it this is not the box that I want. And she had, no, I guess not. And there were some other people in there as well. And she said, the lady said, I'll find out about this though. Okay, don't worry, I'll find out.
No. That's
She's
not.
being very
That's
helpful.
the old needles. Here, we'll go get you some new clean needles. We'll be right back, sir.
So she goes up to go help to go figure out where I'm supposed to go. So very nice, fantastic. There was a lady in the office in on my side of the counter that kind of goes some line about not voting for that one person on the list, right? And of course, there's a pretty good guess on who she was talking about. And it's kind of like with that look on that person on the list. Well, if you're thinking of voting for him, you can fucking go to hell. It didn't say those words, but you could tell that those words were in there someplace, right? And so I just responded very politely, and I said, of course, there's a lot of names on that list that could qualify for that same thing, right? I mean, a lot of people hate Hillary, right?
Oh yeah,
is it true, right?
Yeah,
whatever.
if you were in another state, that line would be assumed to be about Hillary.
It could be any place. It could be any place, right? Right. Yeah, that's right. This is California.
Right.
There are a lot of Republicans in my town, so you could, even in my town, interpret it any way.
Yeah, but they're Republicans like you are. I mean, we they're not.
Anyway, so the lady comes back from the back, and she said, got the information. Yeah, you want to go drive around the front of the building, and you go into the city hall, and it's right there, real easy. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sure they'll have a red box that'll be appropriate, although when I look at these two boxes, either one could be appropriate. Needles, candidates, same pain, right? So anyway, I did drive around the front, and yes, they had it was a smaller red box in the corner, and I did kind of snicker at the lady and said, yeah, I went downstairs first, and they have a different red box, and that's not the right one. And, bring the joke along, So yeah, that was the adventure.
Now the next level of the joke is, did anyone come by and drop their used needles in the ballot box there?
I didn't. Well, I didn't see anybody else. So yeah, I was there on a solo mission. So in fact, I didn't notice anybody else in the city offices area. So there was a person behind the desk, but that was about it. And it was a much bigger, more welcoming
Yeah.
deal.
All
So
right. There you go. Well, yeah,
so it
you
was fun.
voted out there
Really.
doing your thing.
Just trying to hold my nose. But this is the primary, This is where you get to get one last shot in before.
Yeah. Before it comes down to who do you hate the least?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, or you kind of go, is my vote going to really hurt that asshole that's on the top of the list, or hurt the chances of somebody else on the list?
Hey, I got to ask you.
Yeah, does it really matter? Yeah.
Was potato on the list?
Potato was not on the list.
Because if potato's on the list, I would have cast my vote for potato right there.
Right.
Potato. Potatoes.
Yeah.
I like potatoes.
Potatoes are good.
Yeah. No, I think,
but not on pizza, though. Have you had a pizza with potatoes?
No,
I can't imagine it either.
I was going to say, is this something you've heard of? Is this
no,
I
just invented it, and it's just, it's off the wall. Yes.
You know what? You just said it. That means it exists. You know what the rule is. If it exists, there's a porn about it. So now we got to go to Google and find the potato pizza porn. So let's take a look right here. Pizza porn. The one on the right is the potato pizza. Oh my god, this is a Yelp review of something. Oh my god, it's a someone basically has a picture of delicious pizza that they're calling pizza porn, and apparently there's a potato pizza in this picture, and that's all I can tell you about it.
So I take it it's an actual pizza place and not a pornography.
I think someone just posts stuff on Yelp.
Right.
I'm not even sure why this is on Yelp or what it has to do with reviewing anything. Let's go back to Google. 23 mouth-watering examples of skillet porn. Potato porn pizza on YouTube. Well, that might have licensed music, so we better not. Cheeseburger, sweet potato, French fry, and caramelized onion pizza. That's on foodporndaily.com.
Oh, it's food porn, yeah, right.
Yeah, so you're not the first person to think of the idea of the potato pizza,
right.
apparently. Apparently, this is
one of these days to come up with an original idea. I mean, we didn't with the title of our show.
Well, no, I thought
original.
Oh, there's. What do you mean? I think
Insert title here.
is quite original.
Well, I think our voiceover is original. Absolutely, yeah. I'm with that. I'm cool with that. Totally cool with that.
But no, you still thinking of alternate name titles or?
No, I haven't really come up with anything. Well, that's we continue with the theme, right?
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah.
But we are reaching that top of the hour, so we should take a little breather. And take a little break here. And we come back this week in tech and geeking out with our projects. Because I haven't touched my Pi this past week, but I did break out a project that I've been working on some modifications on. And we're going to talk about that. And, Brian, I'm sure you got some stuff you're working on over there.
Cool, yeah. There is some Pi stuff that I can talk about.
All right. Hey, we're gonna...
Yeah, we got things coming up.
Yeah, there we go. So, stay tuned right here to No Holds Barred Radio. And we'll be back right after this little break.
Cool.
Jamming all the hits of the 70s.
Ooh, I'm moving in.
80s.
I always feel like some chick is stalking me.
90s.
Get in the pooper.
And today.
Has got it going on.
You're listening to No Holds Barred Radio.
Oh, no. You got that wrong. I love balls.
Balls. All you need are balls. see our balls. All you need are balls. All you need are balls. See our balls. All you need are.
Be sure to tune in to ADHD Radio, Tuesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the most migga motherfucking addicting show on the No Holds Barred Radio Network.
Balls, all you need are balls. See our balls. All you need are balls. All you need are balls. See our balls. All you need are.
Crater Maker.
Will never bring me down.
Crater Maker. www.cratermakerband.com. EP now available on iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, and Bandcamp.
Hi, this is Ben, host of Detox Radio, and when I'm not listening to gay 80s music, I'm usually listening to the No Holds Barred Radio Network, and you should be too. Well, listen to the No Holds Barred Radio Network, not the gay 80s music. You know what I mean. Just do it. Tune in.
Yo, this is Dune from the Dune and Bob Show. You're probably wondering what all this racket is in the background. Well, with the way the gas prices and the economics have been lately, and basically everything else Obama has done to us, I've had to take on a second job. Shh, don't tell anybody, but I'm a nighttime DJ at a club. Hang on a second. No, hey, look at the sign. It says absolutely no request. Yeah, leave the DJ alone. Yes. Thank you. No, I am hang on, let me get my card. I am constructing a mix out of songs to create a vibe/journey/musical experience outside the catering to an individual's desire to hear my song, if you know what I mean. If you can't live inside the music, you should just stay at home and listen to your iPod. Requests are for scared, musically uneducated dweebs who have no desire to learn about new, good tracks or experience the art of modern EDM. There. Jeez. Oh. Okay, she's done. Hey, by the way, just to let you know, a little secret. I found out that DJs really don't do anything. All I'm doing is just replaying something that Vamp recorded like a month ago. It's really simple. That's why I can't do requests. But listen, I was sworn to secrecy by the DJs of America Club. Geeks even made me pinky swear to it. God. So anyway, Dune and Bob Show, Sundays, 6 to 8 Eastern, nhbradio.com. Be there.
You are listening to the No Holds Barred Radio Network. Visit us on the web at www.nhbradio.com. Now come on over here, lie down on the bed, and let me put my penis in your armpit.
Hey, we're back for hour 2 of
Insert title here.
on the No Holds Barred Radio Network. And this is part of the show where Brian Blues and I, we geek out a bit on our geeky projects. Isn't that right?
Yeah. My sound on?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, when I stepped back in from my little break there, it was bad timing because you were bending over with your butt to the camera, and so the butt shot, yeah, not so good.
Oh, but I had to pick up the tape.
To pick up the tape player. I saw that, but I thought, that was an unfortunate timing on my part.
That's that. I blame you.
Yeah, oh, totally. I mean, yeah.
All right.
No problem.
All right.
But I do like that promo for Dune's show and his radio deal.
Yeah.
Where I like that. I like that bet.
That was
and I
actually.
I wouldn't tell his.
Go ahead.
I like his little promo. How he's kind of don't tell anybody, but this stuff is simple, kind of thing. The way he did it was just good.
Yeah. Well, the card he was reading about not taking requests, or requests are for losers or whatever. That actually came verbatim from someone's Facebook post, because our good friend Video Vamp, host of ADHD Radio, which is on tomorrow, he does some DJing, and I guess he saw there was this picture of a DJ booth with this big sign taped above it, written on it in big letters, "Leave the DJ alone." It was kind of like this DJ that had this attitude of, "I don't want to hear your fucking requests. Get the fuck away from me." Yeah, so he had a big sign, "Leave the DJ alone." And so someone posts something like, "Gee, real friendly," or something like that. And so this one person posts that rant, that requests are for, people just want to hear my song. Basically, this is just interrupting the artwork of the DJ. Requests are just, and so Dune kind of thought that was a rather silly rant, and so he used it as the promo. So that's where that came from. But anyways, I got my this right here is the legendary Fostex machine.
So, by the way, I'm not paying attention to you. I am listening, but I'm also tweeting. Kind of reminder, we're on hour 2.
Ah, cool.
So it looks like I'm totally distracted. I'm distracted for the cause.
You're distracted for the
Tweeted.
cause. Here we go.
Tweeted. Okay.
Oh, hey, I just got a tweet.
Yeah, baby.
So anyways, yeah, this machine is the machine that I used to record in this 8-track tape, which is the source of the quad mix on this deluxe edition that includes a DVD.
Wait. So let's back up here a second. Since we've got a visual on this in the radio show, you said you had this thing that played back that other thing.
This thing.
Now, that's an 8-track tape, right?
Right.
That's an open reel tape deck, right?
Right.
How do you do that now?
You open up the you cue the tape up to the beginning. Yeah, you open up the tape, you undo the splice, and you spool it off of the hub that it's on in here.
No kidding.
Onto the reel on there.
So what you're saying is that you're in dire need of an 8-track tape player.
This does a better job of converting. It's a lot more work, but mind you, this isn't for everyday playback. This is for preservation.
Right. But I mean, you've tweaked on the heads on that thing, right?
Well,
the motors and the electronics and whatever.
Well, here's the thing. This was really Tab Patterson's project to start with, and I'm taking it to. I've evolved it a little bit. This was originally a Fostex A8 quarter-inch 8-track multi-track. I believe it initially played back at 15 inch per second, maybe 7, but I think it did 15. 8-track tapes do play back at 3 3/4 inch per second. So Tab Patterson actually had a machinist make a new flywheel for this to slow the motor down to run at 3 3/4 inch per second. So that was the first major modification that had to be made. Now this thing is 1/4 inch and 8-track by default. And so you would figure, well, it's already got a head in it that plays 8-track spread across the 1/4 inch tape. That head should work to play back a 8-track tape cartridge, and you would be wrong. Because when Tab queued up the tape and tried to play it back on that head, he was getting bleed through. For some reason, the spacing that this for a multi-track recorder unit would use does not align to the tracks on an 8-track tape cartridge.
I take it all that spacing stuff is now available online on the internet.
I don't know. I suppose I could pull up a manual for the Fostex A8, and that might offer some insight onto that. I think the spacing might be the same. It's just that it was reading too wide on the track or there's too much bleed through, you really had to zero in to not get crosstalk. I you see, that was Tab's thing. He figured out that wouldn't work, and
then he ditched the project.
No, he didn't ditch the project. So he took the original heads off of there.
Yeah,
and he took some heads from of quadraphonic 8-track players and mounted them on there. And he had 2 heads on there. Now, mind you, originally this thing was a 3-head unit. And when they say 3-head unit, that means you got your record head, your sync head, and your playback head. The erase head, of course, is the head that you use to erase tape if you're recording over something. Your sync head is also your record head, and your playback head only plays back. And the reason you call the record head also the sync head is because you could use that to play back and record. So that way, if you want to overdub something, your sync head's going to play back the tracks that you're not recording while you recorded the tracks. So that way you can record things in sync with what's already on the tape.
Right.
Now, the playback head plays back with a better fidelity, because even though a record head has the capability to play back, the head is designed more for recording. And so it doesn't play back as well as a head that's designed for playback. So yeah, it would have had those 3 heads on there. The erase head, an 8-track record head, an 8-track playback head, and he put basically 2 4-channel playback heads in place of those 2 heads and wired those into here. And then wired that up so that, the first head came out tracks 1 through 4, and the second head came out through 5 through 8. So it basically was equipped to play back all 8 tracks of an 8-track tape with vintage quad heads. Now, I found a few quirks with this project when I bought it off a Tab, and he decided he was done with it. The first thing is that the equalization on this unit is tailored for 15 inch per second playback tape. So the EQ curve is completely wrong for playing back 3 3/4 inch per second tape, which resulted in a very boomy, muddy bass and a really dead high end. So that required compensating for that by EQing any files you recorded in off of it. Now, Tab dealt with that by he actually had a pair of equalizers, outboard equalizers that he ran the output through to EQ that up. I always felt that was a compromised way of running things. I really didn't like the sound I was getting having to EQ something that came out wrong. It was very hard to dial it in exactly right. And so I had a little bit of inspiration. I thought back about really old tuners or amplifiers, and there used to be that you had a output off a tape deck that was straight off the tape head, and there'd be a special input on the back of an amplifier for a tape head in that would offer the preamplification and the amplification that the tape head required. And so I thought to myself, well, if I could modify something to be a tape head amp, I could have this just bypass all the amplification circuitry and have it modified to have the audio come straight off the head. And so I had a reel-to-reel unit that plays at 3 3/4 inch per second that needed some work done. That was something that I was only ever going to use to play back and would never use to record. And so I asked the guy, can you do 2 things? 1, can you modify this to go straight off the head? 2, can you modify this so that the record input comes out the output so I could use this as a tape head amplifier? And he thought I was out of my mind, but I was willing to pay him for his time, and so he did that. And that is basically the level I got it to when I recorded in some of the stuff I did, including this tape. And, at some point, I didn't like the reel-to-reel unit. I felt that was a little too noisy because that was running some wires through some areas that had some interference that was never really designed for. And so I actually bought a quadraphonic 8-track unit that was really cheap off of eBay, and I ripped the head out of it, and I wired in some RCA patch cables in place of the head and turned that into a head amp. And that was actually what I used to record in my Rick Wakeman tape. So that was the one, but that still offered a little bit of noise because you have very low level off the tape head running through this unit, coming out, and running through patch cables into something else. And so that, resulted in a certain level of audible noise being introduced. It was low enough that it was mostly covered up, and you could noise reduce it. And certainly the people at Universal didn't complain to me that, like, ooh, that noise is unbearable. So I got away with it. But I always felt like that was a compromise. It was better than what I started with, but it was still a compromise. Also, the two heads were slightly different. They came out of different model 8-track decks. So one was a little brighter than the other. So I always had to adjust for that to EQ one half the tape a little different from the other. And so I was talking to a guy in Canada, actually. Because there's this restoration studio, or this a transfer studio in New Jersey that I was in contact with the guy there. And at some point, I asked him, "Hey, by any chance are you equipped to, record in quadraphonic 8-track tapes?" And he said, "Well, I'm not. We never had enough of a demand to ever build anything or customize anything for that. But my good friend, I think his name's Richard Hess, up in Toronto, he's equipped for that." And the guy up there immediately knew what I was up to. And he said, "Yeah, but I can't convert anything for you unless you own the rights to it." And I'm like, "You can't help me make personal backup copies of recordings that I've bought for backup purposes?" He goes, "No, I can't make money copying stuff for you that you don't own. That would make me a pirate, and I don't look good in an eye patch." Yeah, but he did tell me that he did a similar type of thing. He had a pair of Sony machines that he mounted some Nortronic quadraphonic heads onto, and those were better tailored for it and EQ'd for it. And it's quite a cool thing he did there. I mean, he's a professional, so he did a more professional thing. And actually, when I was emailing the guy about my Rick Wakeman conversion, I told the guy, "Hey, look, you got that sealed tape you're working on? You ought to send it to Richard Hess in Toronto if you have a budget to do anything. Otherwise, here are my files." So I guess they didn't have the budget. But after he told me about that, I went on eBay, and I found a guy had some Nortronics quadraphonic 8-track heads, had a lot of them. I don't mean a lot of them, a lot as in more than one. And they had to buy it now with make a best offer. I threw him an offer. He accepted, and I got 2 of those heads. So now I have matching brand new higher quality heads. And so those were something I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. I wasn't sure if I would ever figure out how to mount them on here or if I'd mount them on my reel-to-reel deck. But anyways, the last time I was using this, another problem is that I adjust the heads to each tape because 8-track tape duplication was done very cheaply, and I found that you do get a better sound if you adjust the tape to adjust the head to each tape. The head alignment that works the best varies from tape to tape, which says something about the quality of duplication. And so the adjustment
they
screws...
were cranking them out like hotcakes.
Yeah. And so the adjustment screws on these heads got adjusted a lot. And the last time I adjusted the azimuth on the head that was over to the right here, the screw actually broke off in the hole.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And that was when I was like, well, this is done. This will never convert a tape again, and packed it away, and then I moved. And after my conversion was deemed good enough for professional release, that was what inspired me to go, well, I have to use the Fostex again. But I didn't remember what the problem was. I remember there was a big problem, but I forgot what exactly it was. So I pulled it out of the box. I'm like, oh, well, the screw came out of here. Let me see if I can get the screw in the hole. And I'm screwing, and I'm screwing, and I'm screwing, and it was not catching the thread. And that's when it's like, oh, yeah, the screw broke off. So I figured, well, you know what? This is a good opportunity to tear this apart and put the heads on there I want, because The erase head was still on here. It wasn't wired in, but it was still on here. So I had a spare head mount that didn't have a screw broke off in it. So I took off all the heads and took this apart, and over here is this is the mount that was used on the erase head, and I've adhered one of the heads to it using the shim that was on the erase head, and I think that offers me a good enough height that with the screws I can adjust it into the range I need it. And then I pulled the head off of one of the other ones and adhered this head onto here, but I didn't have a shim that was quite the right size or something to use as a shim. And I read online someone else used a dime as a shim. So I've already increased the value of the Fostech by 10 cents.
Fantastic.
You get it? I increased the value by 10 cents because I glued a dime to it. So these heads are ready to be mounted, and these heads have this very weird, funky pin layout. Luckily, some of the literature that came with them explains to me what the pin out is for those, so I'm set for that. But the thing is that these heads came with these little tiny connectors that slide over the pins for you to solder your little tiny wires onto the end of. And that, I think I finally got a groove going. Now, this head had much longer wires coming out of it. The head on the right has really short wires that are coming off. So I need to fix that up with some new wires or something. But these 4 pair of 2 wires, 8 wires, will go onto one of the heads, and I managed to get all the connectors soldered onto here. So I've got one set of connectors down, and another set to go. Except
what gauge wires are those? I'm curious.
I don't know. I use 18 to strip them, but it's a pair of wires, and when I strip, it strips and leaves the one in there still in its casing. So it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not,
yeah,
it's
right.
2 wires for 1 connector, and the 18 gauge stripper strips off the outer casing, and I have to basically just use the clipper part gently to strip the thinner wire in there because it's more than 20, and I only have holes down to 20.
Right.
But
yeah, I got some new strippers. I don't see them right here. I got some new strippers here, I think, that are smaller from Adafruit.
Oh, cool. So I just need to...
Yeah, here we go. These bad boys they go to 30, and the maker is, hey, made in Italy.
Nice.
These run Adafruit. Although I find, like, if I have a 26 gauge wire, I'll use the 24 gauge thing. Otherwise, it's taking extra wires with it. So I step up 1 notch.
Isn't it the higher the number, the thinner the wire? Oh wait, you went down, so you go
I said
bigger.
from 26 to 24, right?
Oh, I see. So you.
Or if I'm doing 18 gauge, these are only go to 20, so I have to get a different stripper if I've got 18 gauge wire. So.
Dune writes in, listening at the rig, oil and pie all in one.
Oil and pie?
Well, yeah. Well, the joke. Well, no, not the joke. Dune works at an oil rig.
Right.
Because Addy said that Dune strikes him as a type of guy that would work at like an oil rig. So that's
right. Okay.
That's ever since then, from that day on, he's working at the rig. So Dune is listening in at the rig. So we probably shouldn't like.
Hey, Dune.
Hi, Dune. We'll keep it family friendly. Well, we won't say things like fuck or shit or what else should we not say?
Yeah, I don't know. We should go to the George Carlin list.
Shit, piss, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
Right.
And definitely we should not talk at great length about titty fucking.
Oh. None of that. We will have none of that.
None of that. And speaking of titty fucking, we got
must be two.
Venison on the line.
Oh, it's Venison.
I'm just kidding. Hello, Venison.
Son of a bitch, you weren't supposed to call us until I clicked it. We are coming through, are we not?
Yeah, you're coming through. We hear you.
Hey, Venison, how you doing?
For once it is. Hello, Brian.
Good to
Now
hear
what's
your
this
voice.
about you getting some Italian fruity strippers? Kinky.
Yeah, not only that, there's also some titty fucking going on too.
Yeah.
Dude just wrote in,
See that
wow.
one coming, and I just you caught me flat, buddy. But a good one. Good one.
Ryan's got the Italian strippers. Thank you, Venison.
Yeah. No, actually, there is
Did you
one
call
other
it
thing.
on with just that thought?
Oh, no, actually, I did go this. I wanted to go back to something else that he said. About this thing about, giving up all your possessions and all like that. Just to reach some kind of what? Some kind of spiritual purity or something.
From what you're talking about, the tiny house movement.
Yeah, that was about people that live in the tiny houses. You don't have room for possessions in the tiny houses that they build.
Right.
It's more of a, they look at the society where people own a house that they're forever paying off the debt of, and they decide that's not for me. I can afford to buy this, small, tiny little thing and not have any possessions rather than, be paying off the debt on the house. And I mean, teach their own. Teach their own. I mean, like I said, these things are pretty cool. They're pretty slick. The way they make them very efficient. And it'd be really cool to live in one for about a week.
Yeah, okay. I'll say.
In fact, I look at it, and some of this
brings up because it brings up, other groups and types of people and or organizations that actually had the same thought. That you should be free of all your worldly possessions and stuff like that, and follow our way of life.
Like a religious, we'll just call it religious fanatics or something. Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe fanatics, or maybe just another society's way of life. Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I would take away the.
Trying to put that, across to many other people in general. No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. When I watch enough of the show, you see different people. Some people are just out; they don't want a mortgage anymore. Some of them, you get the idea that they might have religious backing on it, but they won't say it on the show. Other people just look at all this crap that we get together, and they say, "I'm sick of all this crap."
And I think, and some of it is off the grid type of stuff too.
Some of it is, yeah. But the whole idea of pooping in a bucket, I'm sorry, ain't gonna happen.
Well, Venison could tell you about that.
No, it is a porta potty. Okay, but
that's pooping into a bucket.
Yeah, it kind of is. All right, but hey,
my wife and I had owned in the 80s. We had owned a travel trailer for about a half a dozen years or so, and it didn't have a bathroom. It had a porta potty and a closet. And the whole time we used it, we never used the porta potty, and it went with the trailer when we sold it.
Yeah, but like I said, this whole idea of giving up your worldly possessions, no, I'm sorry, but to live a life without owning a nice van with a bedroom in it, without owning a car that was slightly high performance, so you can travel everywhere you went, to save your money, to not spend your money on anything, but to just save it and accumulate it, and not do anything at all. Not to go to an amusement park, not to go fishing, not to have Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kremes or cakes and pies.
Yeah, but hang on, Venison. Some of these people are doing this because they don't want to spend all the money on a mortgage. they'd rather do all of that other
Oh
stuff.
no,
you just mentioned.
I know about that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm looking at the broader picture here, at people who were going off the hook and and trying to deny all this stuff. No, when you're sitting there, you live a life that's going down to having absolutely nothing, but just some money that whatever money you get, you just hide away. No, ain't gonna happen.
And-
Plus also, what's the result of that? What kind of a life are you living? Well, you're not living a life. You're just existing.
And speaking of living a life, let me tell you who's got a great house and is living a life. It would be our very own Dune here.
I was going to say that those little tiny houses aren't big enough for my studio. Come on.
They're not big enough for your dogs.
No.
And your dogs aren't that big.
You could get a larger tiny house just for your studio, Dune.
You know what? I look at it this
I
way.
feel
Compared to like the oil people that live in Dubai, I've got a tiny house, so I'm already there.
There you go.
Right,
So it's all in perspective.
Yeah, but how about those oil people that live in North Dakota? I think they're living in something smaller than a tiny house. A lot of them are living in trailers.
Okay, so what's your point?
Well, I'm just counterpointing what you were saying about Dubai. I mean, that's all right.
All oil men were rich.
Everyone's got a smaller house put next to something else. I don't know.
That's true.
Well, so the thing, venison. The thing about North Dakota, they may even be rich, but they can't build fast enough. So just people will pull up trailers and shit.
Yeah, we're living in trailers for now. But
although now that
okay.
oil has gone into the shitter. I think people are leaving North Dakota in droves.
Yes, it is. There's still plenty of jobs there, though. They're still doing okay.
Yeah.
It's not quite what it was, but hopefully it'll get back.
Yeah,
So
well,
did
the big oil companies have all been laying people off in big numbers. You're aware of that, right?
Not as big as you think. I'm still working.
Oh, no, I've seen the numbers.
It's okay. It's a private industry. It'll do just fine.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, I mean, they go through cycles. That's normal.
Anyway, Johnny, are you there?
I am here.
So raspberry pie, raspberry beer.
Raspberry
Let's change
beer.
the subject.
Yeah. There's some raspberry beer on the way here, right?
On the way.
This hour's about making stuff. It doesn't have to be a computer.
And I did say I was proud. By the way, we never did get to talk Sunday about venison, and he's here now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I was proud of you, venison, because I told the story how I was going to see my grandkids, and I didn't want to yell at them when I got there, and I was listening to the venison on the way, and I said, "Listen, you got to be nice, man. I don't want to scream at my grandkids when I get in the house." But it worked out okay. Of course, venison needs a 12-year-old to teach him how to use Skype.
Now,
But
I can work it just fine, but it didn't work.
Yeah. So, Johnny, I didn't get to catch all of the soldering. Did you? Is that got any better? Or
Yeah. I got the connectors on the longer wires for one of the heads. So I've got all the connectors I need for one of the heads. The other head, there was short wires that were put onto these connectors on this board here. So I'm going to need to buy some better wires for that. And plus, I've destroyed many of the connectors in the process of figuring out this technique. But I believe the connectors are the same size as connectors that you'd find on a turntable head shell. And so I have a turntable head shell here that one of my connectors broke on that. So that gives me 3 good connectors on here still. And, hey, they're already attached to short wires. So if I can get those off of there, I should be able to strip the other end and put those on there. And I think bit by bit I should be able to get another 8 connectors for head number 2 on there. And then it's a matter of, screwing things back together. Of course, that will still leave me with a Fostex that has an output coming straight off the heads without any preamplification. But I do have my Sanyo Q8 deck that I modified into a quad 8-track head amp. And my thought was I could, take that apart, take the insides of that out, and with all the space inside the Fostex where there used to be preamplification units, I could try to see if I could fit those boards in there and mount them down there somewhere and build the amplification into the unit. The problem is that this unit is doing 8 tracks, 2 quadraphonic heads for either program I only have one 4-channel preamp unit, so I'd have to get a second 8-track deck of the same make and model.
I got you.
And I'd have to fit 2 of those whatever equipment is into there, and then I got to run power to those, which I did buy a cheap digital multimeter so I could like measure power levels and figure out what needs to go to where.
All that good stuff.
So
So, Venison, how's
maybe-
your soldering skills?
The right
Okay,
hand
that-
is still
that-
trying to
no,
come
that-
back
that-
together.
That answered my question right there.
Yeah.
That's all we needed.
No, it was great before. It was fantastic, but because
Hopefully-
this little
hopefully you'll get it back.
because of the stroke, the right hand's not doing as well.
Well, that's what happens when you stroke it too much. You wear out the wrists, and then you just don't have the steady
No,
hand anymore.
No, I use the left hand for that.
Okay.
Ew. So that's all I can say is ew.
Hey, you were
Oh,
talking
so-
about going fishing earlier, Venison.
Oh, I
You
wish.
must be a masturbator.
Oh, that was
I was gonna say, is that gonna get a drum fill or not? I'm not sure.
that's getting a drum
that
fill.
Definitely. All right, me.
Italian strippers was better.
Italian strippers, yeah.
Oh yeah, that there for the Italian strippers.
That's not my favorite one though. No, my favorite was the one that doesn't quit.
Oh,
That's
remember
my
I
favorite.
cleared out my sound effects, so I'd have to find it again.
That's right. No, that's okay. That's okay. You'll have to put that one back in someday.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. There's the extra
That's
long.
it.
That's the
I
one.
liked.
You didn't get rid of all of them.
Oh, I have the
That's the
sounds. I don't have them programmed on the soundboard anymore. You know what? I used it on the show, so now I'm adding that one back to the soundboard.
I think you should.
Now look at you done.
In case I ever throw a zinger out there, you can
Right. There we go. Now I got it.
throw that. There.
There it is.
Oh, before I let you guys go, I'll get back to listening though. Brian, do you got new pie things going on, or
Some stuff. Distracted
much
from
is
the
too
main
much?
project. What?
how
much
many,
is
how
too
many
much?
is too many when it comes to having those little projects?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
I have to ask because
I don't think there is too many.
I'm starting to get into the same situation with the beer.
Yeah. Because you get an idea. Okay, I'm going to try this one, and then this one, and then this one. Yeah, and then it comes down to prioritizing the most interesting, right?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, because heck, I've been doing quad converting, and with quad converting, I got a multitude of projects in there. I got the Fostex unit needs to be rebuilt. I got this Involve decoder that I'm supposed to put together some type of a shootout and a review for that these guys in Australia sent me for free on the condition I review it like nearly a year ago now. So I'm really slacking there. I need to get back on that project. I've been playing around with the Raspberry Pi with the video games on there. Plus, I started discovering how to software decode CD4 quadraphonic records. So, yeah, I got way too many. I need to pick one and finish it.
Well, like one thing that I hate is you get distracted by some project. Well, let me check this thing out. So I think it was last week, I was talking about the BOINC projects where, you're looking for aliens or for cure for cancer. There was a project for cure for malaria, all this kind of stuff. There were some of these other projects that had to do with Bitcoin. Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't know a lot about Bitcoin, but okay, whatever. So there's 2 projects that I started on Bitcoin. One of the things, you just run it and it goes for days, and you forget about it. And then there's this other one. It has these little short work units, but like I'd throw it on a Windows machine and it would crap out. Oh, the antivirus caught it, or malware caught it. What the hell is this? So I was researching on, what the heck this thing is, why it's tripping up on malware. And so I'm going into that guy's website, and he uses something called a data miner, okay?
Right.
And he refers you to this link to this GitHub where the guy that developed this data miner. And you're reading all this kind of stuff, and you kind of go, okay, so one thing I know is that this data mining stuff is what hackers use. That's why the malware and whatever are tripping over these things. Now, this guy that's doing the Bitcoin research, I don't think he's a bad dude that's, doing something nefarious. He's just doing his project. But, it is disconcerting that he's using his primary tool is a tool that hackers use. So kind of in the end, I kind of go, well, I don't think I'd want to be running this project. Because, in fact, he never describes how does the fucking thing work? How does it work? What does it do? I don't know.
Tools have bad use and good use. I mean, so and I think that sucks that you have these antivirus programs that just automatically assume, oh, it's this type of a tool, that's bad, let's shut it down. And I'm running into that problem myself, with my, for some reason, it doesn't like my MLP encoder. And
in fact, the only reason for me, well, there's two reasons to say I'm not going to run this project anymore. Number one is hard to get information. What is the thing really doing, and what's the benefit? The bigger mankind or whatever, okay? The other thing is that he calculates credits that are tracked by the BOINC status people and whatever. Because it's all about, we're not making any money, we're collecting credits. Well, in a day, in a typical project, you maybe get 50 credits or whatever. Well, this project, you're getting 10,000 credits a day. My CPU isn't going any faster. It's based on CPUs. How is he coming up with? He's not using a standard method of creating the credits to issue to people. And I don't like that. He's not playing by the game rules. I don't think he's doing anything bad, but he's not playing the game rules.
So because it sounds too good to be true, you think he's up to something and you're not touching it?
Well, I don't want to run a project because it's not running by the rules.
Well, what rules are he violating?
Well, this rule that he's violating is this is how you calculate credits, and that's based on mega flops, blah blah blah.
Is there any rule that says you can't calculate a different way that's more efficient and has better results? I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, he's making it. Well, he's not saying how he issues the credits. He's just issuing credits. I don't know what it's based on, but it's not based on mega flops.
Okay.
So, that's an excuse on the list of the other excuse being, unfortunately, this tool can be used by others in a nefarious way.
Right.
Not that I think that he is, but other people are. So I just rather not. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
Did you run it for a little while?
Yeah, I ran it for a couple of days.
Okay, then I blame you. My Bitcoin went from $80.
Your Bitcoin's dropped in value?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was 83 and now it's 80.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I'm still on the plus.
Cents or dollars?
No, I'm actually
that's good.
$20 ahead.
That's good. Yeah.
I stuck it out.
Cool.
Oh, I sold mine and bought donuts.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, this ain't going nowhere. I'm getting out while I'm still even, and
I'm not even sure how to get out. I think I'm just in for life.
Well, isn't the idea that you just spend it?
I think you can. I don't know how though.
Well, you have an account with Bitcoin wallet that you transferred the cash into Bitcoin, and then you take it out. I think you go through the site and do a withdrawal.
Okay.
But Brian, did you generate any Bitcoin with any of these tools? Is that what they're doing? No.
Actually, in fact, what this guy does, and again, I don't understand how it works, but he's he's involved in some of these group fund projects, crowdfunding. So in fact, one of the other things is looking for data in mapping the universe, okay? The Milky Way, I should say. Okay, so there's this Milky Way project, and there's this Bitcoin crowdfunding, pulling up donations for this guy. Well, okay, so wait a minute. How is it that if you wanted to donate your bitcoins to this project, why isn't that just done? What do you need this third party to use this data mining tool to complete the transaction? I don't get it. See, that's what I don't get.
Hmm.
You know, maybe it's something simpler, or maybe I'm trying to overthink this, but
Well, if it doesn't make sense to you, it probably doesn't make sense.
yeah,
I don't
right,
know.
right.
All right, guys, I better get back in. So I will. Catch
Okay,
you there.
well,
You
cool. Cool
You
that you
catch
talked
Stare
in.
of Trouble and Venison. Oh, one of the reasons I called Venison, you were talking about the tiny house thing. Just real quick, I saw an episode of that today, and one of the episodes, this girl had a toilet. Sort of. It was a toilet seat on a box with a bucket. And
I think I saw that one. I think I saw that
That was her
one.
tiny house toilet, and I was like,
And she had the horse trough as a bathtub, right?
that's the one. Yes.
Now
Yeah, yeah. I watched that one. Yeah.
Well, this is a regulation medical toilet.
She said she was going to use it to compost, and she was actually living on a friend's land. I was like, I wonder if the friends realize that she's going to be doing this.
She's gonna take the. And I did like it. The friend says, "I can't wait to use it." That was hilarious.
Actually, that's not such a bad idea.
Uh-huh.
It almost reminds me of that guy named Tickle on that Moonshine show. He used to do Profound Thoughts, and one of his thoughts I'll leave you guys with: if you have a cat in your house, you've got a box of shit. There you go.
That is very true.
Absolutely.
That's very true.
Yeah,
All right, guys, take
absolutely.
care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Unless
Actually,
you have...
he's got a point about the compost thing. Because believe it or not, when you pour it into the ground and cover it over, nature does take effect. All the bugs, worms, and everything else, when you dig it up, like maybe a couple months later, there's basically worm dirt in there. It's pure.
Oh, yeah.
It's been
Oh, yeah.
converted back to pure soil.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, in fact,
Very
she
rich
was.
soil.
They didn't go into it, but she did suggest that she had a composting something or other outside of her house. So I take it she would take her bucket and empty it into this composting deal. I don't know if it was just a hole in the ground or a container or whatever. They did not say. They didn't even give any hints.
Some of these things that, for some people, great ideas, and more power to you if you want to do that. Everybody's been reading an article about people that will make use of reusable toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have like scraps or rags or whatever, and you have like a trash can with a lid on it, I'd assume, to dispose you got the clean one in the container and the container to dispose them into, and then the worst load of laundry you'll ever do in your life is done at some point when that can is filled up, and then you have a nice clean set of toilet paper rags to start over. But yeah, there are people that do that.
Right. Now, a lot of tiny houses you plug into a septic system, or you do what the RVs do, and you have a conventional toilet, or that's like a marine head that goes to a black tank. And so the crap is storing up in the black tank, and once in a while you have to go empty that. And and the guy that I follow on YouTube, this guy Blacktop Boondocker, he had a video where he says, "Here's how you empty your black tank," which you just kind of go, "Oh, that's disgusting." But no, he did it. He just did it. This is how you do it. You go to the dump station, you hook it up, you spray this stuff off with the little hose, and open the valves and all this kind of crap, and rinse it all out, and all.
Right.
You don't want to have to think about that stuff, but hey, if you've got an RV or a trailer, you got to do that stuff. You got to learn how to do it.
Shit's got to go somewhere.
Or some other means where you're forced to do that stuff.
Right.
Hey.
Can't always take all the luxuries that we have for granted.
Anyways, we have another call coming in. Oh, we don't have another call coming in.
Uh-oh, lost him.
Yeah, we had unknown phone number calling, and the call went wah when I tried to pick it up.
Oh, well.
Very sorry, caller.
Hey, caller, try it again.
Yeah. But so what we're talking about poop, right?
I think we got that shit covered.
Yeah, they talking about that a lot on Grossology. It's just a weird show for. Oh man, why did they even put that on that channel?
I'm sorry, which show?
It's called Grossology. It's on Cubo. It's got to be the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Hey, guess what? I haven't seen that. Oh well.
Grossology. Why? Okay. All right.
Oh, it's pretty sick. And yeah, they do fight villains that use poop, slime, mucus, vomit, pus, blood. Oh, God.
I don't really like to watch that guy. Was it Zimmerman that does that Bizarre Foods? Because he's eating something that's kind of gross. You know.
Yeah, when he pulls the worms out of the log and they're still alive, and he just starts downing them.
I just realized.
Yeah, I'm not into that shit, or that stuff. Whatever.
I just realized I created the YouTube stream on the wrong channel this week.
What? What is this on the Johnny channel?
Yeah, it's on the Johnny channel.
Oh my gosh!
Because I'm normally logged into the Johnny channel on YouTube, so now this is annoying that I have to remember to log out and log into the right thing every time I want to do anything.
Is it something you can move from one channel to the other?
Not easily.
Or do you have to download it and re-upload it or some crap
I'd probably have to do some crap like that. But no, anyways, I wanted to this past weekend. You ever do that thing where you find something interesting on YouTube and then it links to something else interesting, and next thing you know, you're like watching a bunch of videos with the same person or the same theme, and I gotta say, I found this one YouTube channel that this guy is the worst. He's the absolute worst at YouTube channels, but he covers interesting enough topics. I watched a few of his videos, and I just need to find his account. And I'm trying to find it now, and I've lost it. No, that's not it. That's way too produced to be anything. No, that's not right either. But this guy does a theme about where he talks about an abandoned place on each episode, and it's interesting. He has the history, how what it used to do, how it became to be abandoned, and he's got pictures of it. But he's always like laughing at himself and umming and ahhing, and it's. It's funny. I was watching tons of this guy's videos. They were showing up automatically when I went to YouTube. Today, I go to look at them, and I can't find this guy for the life of me.
Well, you could go into your history and see what you've pulled up. Or do you just have that many videos that you've watched?
Where's my history?
There's a tab for it on YouTube.
Let's see.
Toward the top near your account.
Oh, there we go. History. Okay. Let's see. There. Oh yeah. Here's the guy. Oh, it is this guy. So yeah, this. But all right. So he has some sound effects. That helps.
What is up, guys? My name is Jake. Welcome to Abandoned, episode 11. I'm not even going to go through the normal crap. Let's get straight into it. So, what are we talking about today? Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been asking for this for quite a while. River Country. We're doing River Country, finally. Yeah, you know what? Nothing. Let's just get right into it. Right, so, as Walt Disney World opened in 1971, economical times...
And this is one of his better videos.
Market. Disney needed a separate attraction like Discovery.
Here we go. Let's try this one. He does a lot of abandoned Disney things, although the theme is just abandoned things in general. But I just, I click on it. It looks cool. He's got a nice picture, and he's just got awful narrating skills.
My name is Jake. Welcome back to Abandoned episode 12. Before we start the video, I just want to say, for some of you that may know, I went on a Disney vacation recently, and my last day there, I got to meet up with some people who watch our videos, And I just want to give a shout out to Kira and Sydney. They honestly, truly made my last day at Disney extremely amazing. We got the
threesome.
I did Space Mountain for the first time. We walked around the wet and sad and cold Magic Kingdom, and it was a.
Well, you get the idea. This is the one that I watched at first. I was like, oh my god, this guy is the worst. The Disney Skyway.
What is up, guys? My name is Jake. How's it going? God, there's so many things going through my mind. It's 9:38 right now. I gotta do this because I kept pushing it back and back because I had a lot of plans today, and I finally got to do it. But hey, I got the iPhone 6, and the iPhone 6, let me tell you, it is friggin' fantastic. I just realized there's gonna be a lot of black screen until now.
So this is how not to do a YouTube channel is what I'm getting at.
I've heard a lot of channels that are like that, though. and that's what actually kind of scares me off from putting out more material, because I would sound just like that.
Yeah, but the thing is we sound like this together, so, it's okay. Whereas this guy sounds like that by himself.
By himself, yes.
1,024 years of YouTube material, and you picked that one.
Right. Right.
Yes, but I ended up watching 5 of his videos because they were interesting. He gives interesting information. He has nice pictures. He just can't narrate for shit. If you could hire someone else to do the talking and write the script,
right,
maybe we'd have a YouTube channel.
But this is all amateur level. I mean, that's what YouTube is.
Yeah.
Not good enough for shall we say, a pre-production. There ain't no talent there. Look the other way, right?
Well, there's plenty of talent on YouTube. It's just that most of the channels aren't. But there are the money-generating channels on YouTube.
Forget that.
Back alleys. But anybody can take their channel and say, I'm going to monetize.
Right.
Now, some people don't have the delusion that they're going to actually make money on it. Okay? I know a lot of people. In fact, like this one person says, well, I'm monetizing basically because a monetized channel has better features to it. You can upload a bunch of stuff and schedule, the things to be released. So you don't have 10 videos all at once that are coming out. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so they like that feature, but I mean, I didn't monetize mine because I don't give a crap. And yeah, that sounds like a neat feature, but again, I don't give a crap. I'm not putting out that much stuff. I've got this stuff from this Maker Faire. I want to edit together a little bit and toss it out there. I don't think it'll be great, but somebody might be interested. There's a guy from Adafruit that posted some video from day 1, 2, and 3, and it's basically he's just walking around with a camera and has the sound on. He's picking up sound effects and he's doing video. In fact, when you watch the video, it's kind of jittery and stuff like this. I get the idea it's on purpose so that he doesn't have to worry about people's faces, because it doesn't focus on enough you can recognize anybody.
Interesting.
So, it's kind of a cool effect. If you go to the Adafruit, channel, you can see his stuff about the Maker Faire. And this guy that does it is this guy, Tony D, he calls himself. He does a bunch of videos that typically are long, typically technical. It's cool that he does his videos, but, he's got my level of talent. He's not super great. He's just smart. He's an engineer. He has something interesting to say. I watch his videos because, it's stuff I'm into. So,
cool.
Need more animal fucking videos.
Are we coming to the end of our time?
Yeah, we've reached the 10 o'clock hour on the East Coast.
Holy crap!
7 o'clock your time.
And we hardly even got into the Maker's Faire. That was cool.
No. Well, we got that video. The video is coming. Stay tuned for your video.
The video is coming. I'll post a link.
And
of course, on Johnny's channel because.
Well, we'll tweet a link.
Okay. Oh, we'll tweet a link. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. When you post your video, we'll tweet the link.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we'll retweet the link, and then it'll get buried under a bunch of kitty pictures that Neo posts.
Oh, is she picked up on kitty pictures?
3 pages I scrolled of kitten pictures, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with Brian?" No, they weren't you. They were all Neo, all kittens,
Yeah,
all day
I
long.
think I'm down to 1 or 2 a day because I check in to see what George is doing, and I'll retweet what George is doing. You know, George
Right.
the Emperor Cat,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll make some statement along with it, so I'll retweet it with extra text.
Right.
You know, share something to you personally. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, hey, I
Yeah.
saw this cute cat on Twitter.
Yeah, but you know we like Neo. Well, I don't know about Venison, but we like Neo, and
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
but I just thought it was funny that how she just went like totally nuts over the kitty pictures that this past weekend.
You know what you do is you retweet them too.
Yeah, no.
No,
Because you want to, pass the interests of your friends along in Twitter
You
land.
want to piss off your friends.
I believe in the importance of being selective of your retweets.
Oh.
There you
No, this is why it's called Twitter.
Why? Because it's filled with a bunch of
All
twits.
whatever it is.
Yeah, really.
Well, on that note, it's time to put another fun-filled edition.
Why my retweets have been kind of tame lately.
Time to put another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
to bed, but we do try to be educational here. So, Brian, what have you learned this week?
Whew, that's a long list, I think. What did I learn? I forget what I learned. What did we talk about again? Oh, I thought it was really interesting on your tape heads and that detail there. We didn't really quite get into your soldering skills, though, did we?
They've improved, but and I got half of the soldering done for this part of the project. Now, basically, I'm going to finish up the connectors on the other half and try to put it back together and see if that much works. And if that much works, then I'm going to start thinking about dealing with the electronics inside and throwing some quad 8-track deck parts inside of here to get the amplification built back.
Yeah,
in.
so there are these little chips that have flat arms that you solder on top of a board.
Uh-huh.
Flat pack or something, I forget what they're called. And Adafruit has this video on how to solder those things on and the technique to use to do that. And, kind of watch that kind of stuff like, yeah, that's cool. But I wouldn't be able to see any of that shit. My eyes are just not. I have to get out that magnifying glass and see if, some of the detailed stuff, is at the edge of my limitations.
Yeah. What about you, Venison? What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that I don't really want to look up the website of fruity Italian strippers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about shit in a box, in a pail.
And I've learned that
I don't use a box.
I've learned that potato pizza porn is a thing.
Fantastic.
And on that
Potato
note,
pizza porn?
what?
Potato pizza porn?
Yeah, potato
That
pizza
was
porn.
earlier in the show. Did you miss that one?
Well, Gotham was on. It was good.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All
And
right.
on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in, and be sure to check out nhbradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Johnny Gators, at Brian Blues, and at NHB Radio. We'll be back next week. Vamp will be on tomorrow, and 5 Hit with Dune Saturdays on Heat FM Radio, and Dune and Bob Show on Sundays, right here on nhbradio.com.
And then isn't Suez returned? Huh?
On every place that's not No Holds Barred. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. Good night.
And on that note,